Hello everyone, my name is Jeremy Burgos and I was a former leader and also a branch church manager at the World Mission Society Church of God in Chicago. And I'm here to make this video short and sweet, 5 to 10 minutes, so please stick to the very end so that anyone that is currently in the World Mission Society Church of God, if you have a loved one, or if simply you've been approached by these guys or you have been studying with them, that you are made aware before continuing on with them. So really quick about the comments made in the last video, I'm going to leave right here, so if you want to pause to see exactly what they said. I am not an airhead. I am not an idiot. I went to a private school growing up. My parents put us through middle school and high school, one of the most prestigious high schools in the Chicagoland area, and I graduated with a 3.5 GPA, earned a football scholarship. I was a 3-sport athlete, as well as a 2-time All-State football player, and on top of that, I was an academic All-State player as well. So I'm not an airhead, I'm not an idiot, but people can call each other names all they want. But anyway, I don't think that's a teaching of the Bible, but you can't deny the facts there. And next, guys, when I first joined the church, I was on a football scholarship out in California. And our friend, me and my roommate Charles, one of our best friends, she brought us to the church, and she was like a sister to me. And the first Saturday that we missed, they studied with us an hour and a half long about the Sabbath day. So from Sermon Book 1, Sermon Book 1, keep the Sabbath day holy, and Sermon Book 4, what day is the biblical Sabbath, and they made us write it out word for word, and they made us sit there and repeat it back to each other until we got it right, and it stuck in our head. And ultimately, they showed us Hebrews chapter 4 and told us that if you do not keep the Sabbath day, you cannot enter God's eternal rest, and ultimately you will go to hell. So out of fear, I quit football. I no longer played. And now I'm watching 4 of my teammates currently play in the NFL. And I was our conference defensive player of the year and an All-American as a freshman. And to show you guys this is the plaque, defensive player of the year, right? And I ultimately gave it up in fear of the end of the world coming and keeping the Sabbath day. So I gave up my passion and what I love, thinking that the end of the world is going to come. In addition to that, 2 months of being baptized, they wanted me to get married to my friend who brought us into the church. She still currently goes, and we would joke about it, saying there's no way ever. I look at you like you're my sister. Your parents have been nothing but parents to me too, and we always looked out for each other. So we never had the idea of getting married, but we were pressured into it multiple times, and I can confirm that fact as well. Next, guys, also too that I want to explain about is actually about their awards that they win. So people don't know, and I'm actually going to leave the pictures of all the emails that I sent out to the Chicago organizations out here to try to put together cleanups, try to put together all these nursing home events that they would ask me last minute to do, saying, we have a week, we're doing our worldwide cleanup on this day, is there anything we can do to put together? And then I was left trying to scramble to find out what organization would allow us to go do that. And even furthermore, they wanted my relatives who are the Chicago police to come out for PR, and also my connections at Fox News and all the newscasts around Chicago to try and come out and videotape. But no one ever wanted to come out with everything else that goes on in Chicago. No newscasts wanted to come out and document those things. But at the same time, I want to talk about one award specifically in 2016 based off their claim, and I'm going to leave right here, the news article. It's actually fake. They are not the only religious organization that won the Queen's Award in England that year. I'm going to name off a few. There was one called the Federation of Jewish Services. They are Jewish. Also, Urban Outreach, Christian, and also the Inner Madarah organization, which is Muslim. So 3 different religions, organizations, and many more won also that award. So they made up a fake article to say they were the only religious organization. And they went furthermore and to say it was from the Korean Sun Times. But let me give you guys exactly how they did this. There's a website that I'm going to leave right here where anybody can go on and write an article. So I can go on saying that I'm from the Chicago Sun Times, and then I can write an article, say it was from the Chicago Sun Times, and then publish it on that website. But if you go to the actual Chicago Sun Times website to see if that article exists, it will not be there. In the same way, they faked the article from the Korea Sun Times, and it does not exist. Type in the date of when the article was registered, type in the exact title, and you can actually see the exact news articles that came out that exact day, and there's no record of the World Mission Society Church of God winning the Queen's Award. So they made that up just to fool people and to make some type of propaganda to show, well, we're not so bad. We win all these awards. We're the only organization that wins. That is not the case. And also, furthermore, to go back on that claim of all these awards, there's a Bible verse right here. I'm going to leave it right too. Matthew chapter 6, verse 1, and I'm going to read it verbatim. It says, "Watch out, don't do your good deeds publicly, to be admired in front of others, for you will lose the reward from your Father in heaven." So if you look at their website, it's all awards, all propaganda. Oh, look who we met. We got an award from President Trump from 2018. We must be doing good things. But also there was a man named Richard Nixon who also invited Reverend Moon from the Moonies, shook hands with him. I'm going to leave a photo right here. And if you're not familiar with the Moonies, they're also a church from Korea who believe in God the Father and God the Mother here on this earth from Korea. Kind of similar, doesn't it? But the World Mission Society Church of God also claims they're the only church to believe in God the Father and God the Mother. But how about these guys too? So just something to think about, guys. And then also to the accusations made about me, saying that they wish me to get raped, drop the soap. I'm going to leave the comments right here. That's also not in the Bible. That's not God's teaching. And they also claim that, well, we deleted the comments, so we're going to let God judge you now. Actually, the Bible also says that you will be judged for every word spoken. So just because you delete a comment on social media doesn't mean the words are just magically gone. So at the end of the day, guys, this is them. This is the way they operate. They'll bash you, take you down, and do anything in their power to try and get you to escalate. But I already know, just to keep my cool, people can talk all they want behind a computer, but at the end of the day, they're just exposing themselves. And they deleted those comments, but luckily I took a screen recording, and I'm now showing you guys what they said. And then also another thing that also made me really, really mad when I was in the church was the getting rebuked for a baptism of a brother that was homosexual. There was one deacon that came from LA, and if people are in Chicago, they'll know exactly who I'm talking about, who rebuked me because this one brother was baptized and he was homosexual, and they said, well, why didn't you study Sodom and Gomorrah with him? He needs to confess. He will no longer do those deeds when he is a member of the Church of God. And this is a World Mission Society Church of God teaching, he said. No one is to be baptized as homosexual unless they confess they will no longer do that. Secondly, they cannot be baptized under the influence, and also no homeless people. And also I brought someone one time who didn't have work. He was a student, and he was homeless, I guess you can say. We had no evidence to support that, but that's what the deacon said. So they didn't baptize him. But the Bible, what their teaching is to be baptized immediately. They want to save 7 billion people in the world. But when you're starting to seclude certain people, then how is it true to save 7 billion people? And how is your claim holding up when you restrict certain people to get baptized? So I was very upset about that. And me and one sister even got in a talk afterwards. And I simply said, well, before coming to the church, I used to, party with my teammates. And at the end of the day, the Bible does say no drunkards and no homosexuals are to enter the kingdom of heaven. And no one studied with me about that. So what's the difference? And no explanation at all. So guys, you need to think logically and also ask questions, because there is no justified answer at the end of the day. And then also about the accusation about sex trafficking, that is not true. I'm here to actually support the church. That's not true. But me and 2 other deacons, we were the 3 people that went up to Wisconsin, the police department, to try and cover up the claims, because there was tweets going around, going viral, that they were part of sex trafficking. But when I went up to the police department that day and got their side of the story, that made me realize I no longer wanted to be a part of this church. They said that they were late at night asking, especially one parent who did call the police, asking that their son, who was 17 years old, come in a minivan to drink wine. And also we know that they were probably, trying to baptize them, keep the Passover bread and wine. But to the average person, they don't know what that is. That could be kidnapping, and there are people in this world that will lead people into minivans, and that's how kidnapping happens. And the police, they simply said, just let us know you guys are here. Just let us know. You don't have to be secretive about it. That makes you guys even more suspicious. So that's why we're not going to take down these claims on Twitter. We're not going to stop those, because they are freedom of speech. So guys, at the end of the day, my experience within the church was different than maybe some of you guys, but the claims are true. And also the fact that they go after people and sue them for speaking out, is also against the Bible teaching. I'm going to leave the verse right here in 1 Corinthians chapter 6 for you guys to read, but they are suing for multi-millions of dollars against magazines, articles, and also all these other people that speak out against the church who did sign non-disclosure agreements. I'm going to leave that non-disclosure agreement right here. And at the end of the day, guys, I just want you guys to do your own research and to think freely for yourselves. For the evidence book, they have, prophecies that don't add up to actual history according to encyclopedia, and in addition to articles and history, and also any video documents that you guys watch about European history, in particular Daniel's prophecy, it does not add up to actual history. So I'm going to leave that in the description below, the exact explanation, and also links to their evidence book to support my claims as well. But they're also now being sued for copyright for those evidence books. That's why if you're a member, you can't get those evidence books anymore. Do you think it's kind of funny how you can't get it from the evidence book anymore? That's why. So guys, for as far as the propaganda videos about that, about former members that left the church and what they tell you guys, you need to get two sides of every story, because they want to make people that come out of the church, make them look bad and, say all these lies and bad things about them. But when I started to do my own research, especially with cult experts and also other former leaders who shared the same experience as I did, at the end of the day, they're good people and they just speak the truth and they show evidence to support their claims. So that's why, guys, if you're a member of the World Mission Society Church of God, I really encourage you guys to dig deep, take a step back, do your own research, read the Bible for yourself, write down all the questions you guys have, and then ask. And if they get defensive and mad, then you guys know that might not be the truth. Or if they don't have a concrete answer and start jumping around the Bible, then we might have a problem too. So guys, please take a step back, investigate, ask, religious leaders, ask Bible scholars, ask cult experts, and ask former leaders who were part of the World Mission Society Church of God. Because if I knew what I know now, back in 2014 when I joined the church, there is no way I would have joined. No way. When you're a member at first, yeah, they'll treat you great. But then everything starts to unfold as time goes on. So guys, this is my video for today. Like I mentioned, take a step back, do your own research, see what others have to say, and then make the judgment for yourself, not based off of fear of what somebody in the church tells you. Guys, have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.